Hey, thank you so much for joining us today for Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. I am music producer Achickwitbeatz.
And this is Breezy Gipson, entrepreneur, marketer, online specialist, and so forth, right here with you.
And yeah, we're glad that you came to rock out with us once again. You know, another great show lined up for you as always. We've got music industry news, beats by yours truly, and our special guest, Albert M. Carter, coming through with just tons of information and wisdom. And we're really, really excited to share this episode with you.
We sure are. So hey, it's going to be impactful today.
Yes, most definitely. All right, so without any further ado, let's jump right on in.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, and we're back with music industry news. First off, the Universal Hip Hop Museum is celebrating its first anniversary of its groundbreaking with a topping off at the construction site at its soon-to-be permanent home at Bronx Point. So they hosted the traditional topping off event at Mill Pond Park, located in the Bronx. And it's been designated by the New York City Council as the cultural anchor of Bronx Point. So it's being built as a space for audiences, artists, and technology to converge to create educational and entertainment experiences. And so it's still on track to open in 2024. And I can't believe it's been a year since they broke ground already. So, I'm getting excited that we're getting closer and closer to its big opening. How about you?
That's right. Every day they hustling.
Yeah.
Every day they're hustling and hustling and hustling. So yeah, I'm really excited about that as well.
Yes. And it's not like I needed an excuse to get back to New York, but that's definitely a great one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that out once it opens. All right, and Justin Timberlake has joined the ranks of many who have sold their song catalog rights. So he sold his to Hipgnosis, and I'm telling you, man, I feel like we have stories about Hipgnosis at least monthly, usually multiple times a month. But yeah, this time he sold 100% of the catalog. So this includes his copyright, ownership, and financial interests of all compositions written by him. It also includes worldwide administration rights to the compositions. So it's all connected to the terms that he had with Universal Music Publishing Group. Yeah, it's a big deal, and those rights don't even expire until 2025, so there may be some more deals coming forth after that. But yeah, it's definitely a trend that we're seeing, although he is one of the younger artists to actually be able to participate in this. John Legend was also somebody that was kind of new compared to everybody else that had been doing this. So, with all those hits and stuff that he's got in his repertoire, man, this had to be a big deal. So the exact amount wasn't disclosed, but it had to be up there.
Well, you know what I got to say.
What's that?
Cry me a river, Dan. Just cry me a river.
Yes, and he'll be wiping his tears with that cash, I'm sure. All right. Yeah, speaking more music investments. So Matt Pincus's music has raised $200 million for record label, publishing, tech, and Web3 investments. So that's another term that we're hearing thrown around a lot lately in music. But he is a highly respected entrepreneur in the music industry. He founded Songs Music Publishing, which signed The Weeknd, Diplo, and Lorde, among many others. So, obviously he's got the know-how, and he can spot talent and do his thing once he sees it. So after he left Songs, he quietly launched music, and this is in all caps, by the way. But since then, music has made investments in Splice, which is a music making platform, Hi-Fi, which is a music financial services company, and Dice, which is a ticketing platform. And so, this is a trend that's going on here. And so his intent is to focus on taking long-term positions in a variety of music enterprises. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what they do with this new 200 million. And, hint, hint, with somebody with that kind of track record, it's kind of a good idea to watch what they're putting their money into and what they think will actually return on their investment. So yeah,
that's right. Because you stole my thunder, because I was getting ready to say to the artist on the street now, to the hip hop artist on the street, don't think that, hey, just by going into the recording studio and recording that, your tracks and songs and everything, and and then getting them approved and put out. Don't let it stop there.
Mm-hmm.
Look at diversify.
Yes.
Put your apples in. Put your seeds in some other places as well, and let them all grow and produce all together.
Yes.
Okay. So don't just put all your hopes into one bag. Spread it around.
For sure, because if you look at all these people that are successful in music, that's exactly what they've done. I mean, first person that comes to mind is Snoop. I mean, there's tons of other artists that you can point to, but man, yeah. So there's nothing wrong with making sure that you got your bets hedged. Yeah, just to make sure that you're all right.
That's right.
All right, we're going to take a quick pause for the cause, and then we'll be back with more music industry news. And then right after that, we'll return with our guest, Albert M. Carter. Stay tuned. Okay. All right, and we're back with more music industry news. Revolt has joined forces with DJ EFN and Rock the Bells on a hip-hop documentary film series called Coming Home. And so there's already been a couple installments out that have done pretty well, but these two new installments will follow DJ EFN and his crew using the common language of music to guide and familiarize them with foreign places and document hip-hop culture in both Colombia and South Africa. All right, so Coming Home Colombia premiered Monday, May 30th, and then Coming Home South Africa will premiere Monday, June 13th at 10 p.m. Eastern. So definitely something to check out. And check out some of the other ones if you haven't already. But it's great to kind of show how forceful hip hop is and how universal it is. It seems like another theme that we keep hearing a lot because it's so true. But yeah, definitely another indicator to make sure that you think about reaching fans beyond where you are, because there's a market for it for sure. So yeah, make sure that your music is where people who might enjoy it can actually find it. So you got to think bigger than Spotify, bigger than Apple Music, bigger than Tidal. There's so many other platforms out there, and make sure that you get a distributor that can help you get your music everywhere that it needs to be.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Achickwitbeatz just said it. She used the word forceful. Hip hop is forceful. Say that one more time.
It's forceful. Most definitely. It's the voice of the people. Yeah.
All right.
All right. And Sony Music is going to expand its unrecouped balance program to more artists and songwriters. So this is great news, fantastic news. So they're expanding the program to eligible unrecouped artists and songwriters globally who've been with Sony Music for more than 20 years and haven't received an advance within those decades. So yeah, this is great. A lot of these people were in debt because their albums didn't sell as many as they had anticipated, and so they weren't really able to pay back their advances. But now they've kind of extended this grace period to allow them to be able to make money off of what gets streamed now. So, all three of the major record labels have these types of programs, and so it's great that they're actually letting some of this money come back to the artists now.
Stuff is happening. Hey, keep your feet in there, keep moving.
Yes. And we shared a while back, we had talked about the struggles that Anita Baker was going through with her label and how she was finally able to regain her masters after all that time. So, she had gave everybody a while back the go ahead to continue streaming it. And she dropped this little tidbit recently during a performance. She took a moment to thank Chance the Rapper, who she says actually helped her regain her master. So we don't have the details as to how he helped, but yeah, she made sure that she pointed him out and had him stand up and the audience cheer for him. And so, yeah, it's really great. Whatever he did to make sure that that happened, salute to him for helping out a legend like that.
How about that? Yeah. A lot of times, when you're in your daily flow, your weekly flow, yearly flow, you're doing your thing, but there's people out there paying attention to what you're doing. Okay. And so when you put out positive, guess what? Positive comes back to you.
Yes.
So, yeah.
All right. And Lil' Kim is set to release a biopic. She's also slated to release her memoir later this year. And it was supposed to come out last year. Not really sure what the delay was, but the film is set to closely follow the memoir and will reportedly chronicle her transformation from a modest Macy's sales clerk to a renowned Grammy-winning hip-hop star. So no word yet on who will portray the iconic Queen Bee, but we'll definitely keep you posted. So once again, it's always great to check out these documentaries and biopics to just kind of see some of the things that people went through in order to get to the level of success that they've obtained. So, at least for me, I know anytime I watch it, it makes everything feel slightly more attainable, because a lot of times we only see the glamorous side. We don't see the struggles and the no's and rejections they had to deal with in order to get to where they are. So, heads up, like I said, once we have more information, we'll make sure we keep you posted.
Okay. Good stuff right there.
Yeah. All right. And we're going to take a quick pause for the cause, and then we'll return with our special guest, Albert M. Carter. Stay tuned.
Whoa.
so much for tuning in to Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. We're glad that you're here with us today, and we're excited to announce that we have Albert M. Carter in the virtual building with us today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, it's a pleasure having you on. And if you could, just give us a little bit of background. Who is Albert M. Carter, and what do you represent in the world today, as Breezy usually says?
Well, yeah, so I like to call myself a culture shifter. My aim is to change people's beliefs, behaviors, and outcomes, specifically within the realms of education and music. I'm a teacher by trade, music business professional by years, So, it's just one of those things that I aim to really empower artists as much as I possibly can through various mediums, whether it's platforms, whether it's live events, whatever it is, however I can help, then I'm more than willing to help. So yeah, that's basically the short version of the story. I have a much longer one, but then we might run over the time,
All right, that's awesome. It's like that.
Hey,
what do you think about all that stuff you just dropped on us, Breezy?
Well, I mean, that's a lot of intrinsic value right there. And so, people who heard that, I'm sure it just brought them to a stop. So they're ready to just see just what is going on and absorb some of these good vibes from Mr. Carter.
Yeah. And so here we love making sure that artists are empowered to be able to take control of their careers. And it sounds like, you've been doing this through all your various programs. And I see you're an author as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I wrote 3 books. The first one was a journal, like an urban journal, and it was specifically designed for African-American males. Because one of the things that I found that was very empowering to me was when I actually write down my thoughts, my feelings, my goals, my dreams, things that I'm not comfortable sharing with everybody else in the world, I'm comfortable sharing with myself. And there's a way it's called Keep It Real or Urban Journal. And the idea behind that was like, you really got to just keep it real with yourself. You don't got to keep it real with nobody else in the world, but you got to keep it real with yourself. And a lot of times I find that we face a lot of problems because we're not real with ourselves in certain instances, which is the reason why we end up doing things that will put us in negative spots, specifically in areas where I come from, that I can, I guess, relate to a little bit more is, like the impoverished areas, at opportunity areas is what I want to call them, not at risk, but at opportunity. I believe if you look at people and things as a risk, you're less likely to take a chance on it. But if you look at it as an opportunity, you are more than likely to take a chance in doing it. So I look at certain communities, certain people that I work with as at opportunity. And that was what the first book was about. The second book was called Going Global. I wrote with 9 other authors, and it was to talk about what it is like being an African-American man living abroad. And we have 10 people based all around the world that was kind of talk about their experiences living in such places as, Dubai, Bahrain, China, Japan, all kinds of things, which was very interesting to see how people responded to that. That actually was in certain colleges in the US that we were able to kind of push and talk about our experience to help people travel and go to school abroad. And the third book I wrote solo was Life Sucks, which stands for Screw Ups Create Killer Success. And it's just about failing upwards. It's about like making mistakes and not being scared to make those mistakes. I think a lot of times people don't take that first step into whatever journey that they're on because they're scared of failing, whether it's a sense of embarrassment, whether it's a sense of they don't feel like can accomplish their goal, whatever that may be. It's just a matter of, it's okay to screw up, learn from those mistakes, keep it moving, and then success will follow you because the more you learn, the more you grow, the more success that you achieve.
Whoa, that is heavy. He just casually dropped all that. Like, that's some serious knowledge right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's really important that we, we kind of dive into literature a lot more as a culture, as a people, especially African Americans, men. You know what I mean? Like I think that women, you ladies have that under control. You know, your reading is kind of a natural thing at this point, you know what I mean? But for men, man, we kind of don't want to sit still long enough to kind of open up a book and read. You know, now they have audio books, so you know things have gotten a little better. But you know, intentionally, when I was growing up, man, you know, reading wasn't cool. That's not something that we did. You know, that's just something that you know older folks did, or you know, people would tell you to read, but you know, nobody around you was actually reading any books. You know what I mean? So it just. And it wasn't like they couldn't read. It just wasn't anything that was written directly for them in a way that was super cool that they can kind of be passionate about and kind of learn more about themselves. So that's kind of what I aim to do with the book side of things.
That's really, really awesome. Don't you think, Breezy?
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, there always was that little one guy over there in the corner, you know, that everybody called a nerd. Okay, now they might read some books, whatever, but I understand what you're saying fully. And engulfing that culture. So, but I'm proud of you for what you've done, and becoming an author. That's a huge step right there.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I mean, and it was that sense of you know, the person that's in the corner that's reading and nobody really paid attention to, and that guy is probably one of the most successful people that came from that environment. You know what I mean? If you really think about who that person was during that time, he probably was the most successful person in that environment that people would look at and clown or try to make fun of or not be associated with and all that. If you look at him, you know, 30 years down the line from whenever that took place, man, you know, look at his outcome of what his life has became. You know, 9 times out of 10, it's in a better spot than a majority of the class, you know, or a majority of people that's in that environment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of the things that you mentioned, I hear a lot of parallels that you hear artists talk about. You know, they're usually the odd ones kind of left out. You know, you got all these creative differences that kind of make you stand out from other people. So what advice do you have to any artists who might be kind of dealing with some of that stuff that you've already mentioned in the music industry?
Yeah, authenticity, man. You know what I mean? Like authenticity shines through. The brightest artists, the ones who have longevity in music are the ones that's most authentic to themselves and the people that they can relate to or that relates to them. I think that's the biggest thing. Like the artists, to be an artist in general, you tapping into a different part of yourself that you want to express to the world. But a lot of times we especially with the music, we get cookie cutter music where everybody wants to sound like whatever trend is hot at the moment, you know, and that's cool for the moment. But if you want to have longevity in the game, you have to have a sense of authenticity. So if you look at the Kendrick Lamars, the Jay-Z's, the J. Cole's, the list goes on. The people that tends to last the longest are the people that's not really hopping on the trends. These are the people that kind of is authentic to themselves and their music shines through. And that's why it's able to relate to so many people, you know, like always, you know, one of my favorite artists in the last decade has been Nipsey Hussle, man. I've been listening to him since the Bullets Ain't Got No Name series. And I'm from Philadelphia. We really don't listen to West Coast music too much because we don't have gangs. We're not like gang affiliated or anything like that. We don't have Bloods. We don't have Crips. So a lot of people, when I was telling them about Nipsey Hussle, they didn't really understand what I was saying. But I was like, man, just cut out the Bloods, Crips, the gang banging and all that, and just listen to the authenticity that he has in his voice. And if the unfortunate demise, the unfortunate circumstances that happened to him, after he passed away, people started to tap into that and they understood what he was saying. It wasn't just about gang banging. It's more about who am I and what's the structure of the society that's around us. You know what I mean? And how can we overcome all the limitations and all the roadblocks that's in our way? Exactly.
Yeah, that's a really, really great point. Because a lot of times you do have people that when they're trying to mimic some of the success, they only take the portions that they see being promoted without taking the whole aspect in. So yeah, that's a really, really great point that you brought up there. So I'd like to hear more about Hip Hop University. Could you let the listeners know a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so Hip Hop University, we started off as a summer mentoring program in Charlotte, North Carolina. I founded it with a gentleman by the name of Reginald LaRoche. At the time, we were both teachers in Charlotte Mecklenburg schools, and we did a summer working for another mentoring program. So one of the things I'm very passionate about is mentoring in general, right? Because I just feel like I didn't have a mentor. I went to 5 different high schools. You know, the people that I looked up in my neighborhood was like, you know, not doing the most positive things. So, you know, by the time I was like, high school was finished, I got faced with that ultimatum, right? I got faced with either going to the Army, you're going to school, or you're getting a job, you know what I mean? And then none of those three, like really, I didn't have any preparation for, you know? I was just prepared to get out of school, not knowing what I was going to do. So ultimately I went to college, but I didn't know what I liked. I didn't understand what it is that I liked as an individual, you know? So, you know, people would say, all right, well, what do you like to do? And I know at that time I was 18 years old. I was like, well, I like girls, you know what I mean? And what do girls do? Where are they at in college? They were, you know, in my mind at the time, I was just thinking they're nurses and teachers, right? They're the 2 professions that you see the most women in during that time period. And, you know, so I was a nursing major because I didn't have a clue. I don't even like blood. You know, so it's like, this is where like guidance comes in at, you know, you need somebody to kind of show you the ropes, because I went to school like for the wrong reasons, for the wrong things, and not understanding like, you know, this is not really my passion, it's just something to do. And then ultimately it just led to me failing upwards, you know what I mean? Like, you know, screwing up, so to speak. And I became a sociology major, and then, you know, ultimately I ended up with a business management degree, and then I got my master's in education. But through that process, I wanted to become, you know, I became very passionate about mentoring. So I met Reginald LaRoche in that mentoring program, and then from there we had the thing in common with the students, which was hip hop, right? And so we put together a game plan on how do we help mentor students through the course of hip hop. And that's what created Hip Hop University. We developed a 92-page curriculum full of activities that allowed us to travel the country to kind of, you know, put these programs into place. We started off in Charlotte. We did some work in St. Louis. We had the program in Atlanta and Philadelphia, New York. We went, you know, pretty much up and down the East Coast with trying to promote, you know, what we had going on. And students were they really felt it, you know, because if I just say it, nobody cares. Nobody cares about me talking, you know what I mean? But if a hip hop artist said the same exact thing I said, the buy-in is automatically there. The collective buy-in from the people that's listening is there, because these people have been through, or they think that they've been through certain trials and tribulations that only a successful superstar can kind of like give them the information that they want to receive. So through that program, we worked with people such as like Big Daddy Kane and DaBaby and De Niro Ferrar. We had a lot of background people. We had Malik Yusuf, who was like a ghostwriter for Kanye West. We had a lot of cool people come through and just show love and really like get the students on board.
Wow, man, that's incredible. Go ahead. Yeah.
So from there, we started off as a mentoring program, and then we switched it up to be a community-based program, right? Because the students still have to go home, right? Kids still have to go home. And so we opened it up to a whole community-based program. So at the time I was working with 2 young ladies and and Reginald LaRoche as well. And so we had something called the Digital Hip Hop Summit, which was pretty much a community-based program. And if you were in between the ages of 5 to 65, we had something that was for you, that was like hip hop based. So we had LinkedIn workshops, we had how to go viral workshops, we had Google workshops, we had everything that you could possibly need in order to help elevate and improve like certain communities. And then I wanted to move the Hip Hop University over here into Dubai, and that's what brings me to the journey that I'm on right now with Hip Hop University. So we're still active. We currently do a virtual foreign exchange program with a community organization in Philadelphia called Citizens Diplomats, which aims to place Philadelphia students all across the world, kind of doing positive things that help impact the city in a positive way. So it's still active, and we're still doing some community-based programs over here. We're doing a lot of donations, a lot of drives to places in Africa, places in Asia, things like that. So we're still moving and shaking, but ultimately the endeavors has opened up to more of a more music-based things, more so than anything else now.
Man, that is phenomenal. Wouldn't you say, Breezy?
Yes, and there's a one comment that you made about the hip hop artist or any kind of artist that has a louder or more attractive voice for similar topics. Where you can say, John Q. Public may say something and get a certain reaction or response, but then the artist makes that same statement and draws a whole lot more. But what I'm receiving from you right now is a very high level of what I call attraction marketing. Okay, mm-hmm. in your delivery, in your exuberance, in your positivity, in your direction, there are a lot of people out there that you might, in my opinion, you can say, well, bump the hip hop artist because you are the source of the attention marketing. Which there are people out there, again, like you say, between age 5 or 65 or 85, whatever, by hearing your story and the direction that you're going into, they're going to be attracted to you without that artist having to say. You understand what I'm saying? Because you come across very succinct as what you're doing, the reason you're doing it, who you're doing it for, and I commend you for that, because just that quickly, you've struck a note saying, well, hey, let's drop, let's put this aside over here and let's zone into what this young man is speaking about, because I feel that there's something that there's something very relevant that I can absorb, that's going to have me transcend into something better than what I am now. So let's see what Mr. Carter is talking about here.
Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. I mean, that's what the goal is for me. Is ultimately how do I help improve whatever situation that we currently walk in. I want to leave every room leaving a positive impact, no matter where I'm at. I want to make sure that every room I come into, I leave a positive impact. So I really appreciate that, man.
You're very welcome. But see, it's written all over your delivery. And there's folks out there that are absorbing that. And the longer you stay around, the more you're going to attract. And, the trickle down from that is the more that are going to become involved in the various steps that you're promoting, the various teachings and trainings that you are creating. And you're an author, so there's things that subjects that you've written about. And so it's like a positive influence magnet.
Yeah, that's the goal.
See, yes, there you go.
That's the goal, man. I messed up a lot, man. You know what I mean? So it's why not people learn from my mistakes than have to, make them. I came from a background where a lot of people where I'm from, they weren't doing the most positive things, and I got myself into a few bad situations growing up that I had to learn quickly. Look, it's one or the other. You know what I mean? You can't do both. So hopefully I made the right choice. Yeah,
well, see, that's there's folks that are saying right now, well, I'm dealing with this right now, blah, 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 but let me put this aside and just zone into what he's talking about, what he's doing, and how I can absorb that to make myself a better person based on what I'm hearing from him.
Mm-hmm.
And see, so that's what I'm hearing in you.
Thank you. That's the goal, man. Like I definitely want to, you know, help out where I can, man, you know. And if people could take something from whatever it is that I'm saying or whatever the experiences that I've been through, then, you know, I do my job, man. You know, like each one teach one. That's all I aim for. I just try to, you know, I try to lead as many, you know, people on a positive front as I possibly can, man. And you know, if you say that, man, and you recognize that, I really, you know, I appreciate that, man. You know, and I hope your listeners get something out of what I'm saying as well.
Oh, I have no doubt they will.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yep. Yeah. You're on the right street. You're on the right road. You're on the right highway.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yes, we're looking at the clock here, but before we get ready to kind of wind this down a little bit, things are changing right now across many industries, but especially for creatives with, you know, blockchain, Web3, NFTs, and all that good stuff. Do you have any advice to offer artists who are kind of watching what's going on, but don't really know what to do with it at this point?
Man, I would tell everybody to build their digital community as quickly and as fastly and as authentically as possible. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like the days of like, you know, faking streams and the days of faking, you know, all of that stuff, man, it's coming to an end quickly. The best thing you could do is build an authentic community that has a buy-in to you as a artist. At the end of the day, your online community is going to be is going to be your net worth as an artist, pretty much, you know. And the sense of ownership that is missing in the industry, like with streams, is not the same. You don't get the same feeling as going to the store and buying a record or going to buy a vinyl, piece of vinyl, whatever. Is a different type of feeling when you stream it. So NFTs are the natural progression of where I feel the music industry is going. I'm banking all my chips on it. I started a platform called Audio Swim, which is music distribution, royalty investment, and NFTs, along with NFT live streaming. So the focus of it is to help artists build an authentic fan base through fan engagement. So we have like a community feature, we have a live streaming feature, we have the NFT marketplace. And then we also have a chance for your, you know, for you as a fan to actually get in on the action by investing in music royalties from some of your favorite independent artists. So that's like really what I'm working on currently. And, you know, you see a lot of it in different ways, in different patterns, with different artists. Like I love what Tory Lanez has done with, you know, selling that million copies of that NFT album. I love what Kings of Leon did. So it's just, you know, it's the wave of the future. I don't think NFTs are trendy. I think it's really like the beginning of something long term. So I advise everybody to build their authentic digital community as quickly as possible. Like, don't fake it. Don't buy streams. Don't buy anything. Get your real analytics, your real insights. Learn your data. Do some data analysis on whatever it is you have, whether it's Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Use your insights and really target the audience that you want to make music for, or want to make art for, not just music, but whatever that audience is. Engage with them as much as possible, because if they believe that you're engaging with them and they believe that they have you, I guess, interacting with them, then the more buy-in that you will have from them. You know, like I read something the other day that, you know, with streaming, you're making 13 cents, you know, like, you know, just the average streamer, you know, you sell, or people listen to your music 100 times, you make 13 cents from 100 streams, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you really think about that, look how much money you leaving on the table just by, like, you know, getting streams. Like, if you make good music, if you really build your digital community properly, then, you know, the money is there for you. You just have to build the community for it.
Whoa. Impactful.
Well, see, now, I'm telling you, Mr. Carter, now, see, Achickwitbeatz, you got to watch her. Okay? Yeah. The reason I say that is because, see, she's known to keep a big bucket of cold water, ice cold water. So if the suggestion doesn't flow, she'll take that big cold bucket of water and she'll dump it on it. Okay, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. Okay? I'm gonna take a chance anyway. Okay. Now, hey, you've laid it out there. We gotta have you back. Okay, what I submit is that we got to have you back. Like, I'm gonna submit that we break tradition and have you back much sooner than later, because there's a part 2, there's a part 3, chapter 2, chapter 3 of what you're saying, and we got to have you back to help develop the listeners out there, because they need to hear what you have to say. So whether Achickwitbeatz dumps the cold water on me about the what I'm submitting or not, I'm gonna say it anyway.
Oh, no.
All
Most
right,
definitely. I'm here for it.
I mean, let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it, man.
Okay.
You know, the creative community, honestly, is where my heart lies at. Like, I work with a lot of big artists as well as small artists currently through the Audio Swim platform. Well, actually, not through the platform, but through some of the consulting and management work. I work with an artist named DJ Kaboo, currently just taking a model that I provided. He's number 4 on Spotify in Egypt, number 2 on TikTok, 126 on Billboard. We got the Moon Knight soundtrack, 2 songs off of that. And we did a ton of interviews, everybody from GQ magazine to CNN, you know, so it's like we've been really working him, and he's like the first artist that's like an Audio Swim artist that I'm kind of working with on a day in and day out basis. But yeah, so the program is tried and true at this point. So you know, we're always looking for artists to kind of work with, but it has to be authentic engagement. And you know, look at being a background guy, you know, I'm not a rapper or anything like that. I look at insights, I look at all of your data. So if the data doesn't fit, it kind of doesn't fit what I do. You know what I mean? So any artist, I'm always looking to work, you know what I mean? As long as we got the right team, you know?
Okay, well, let's have your people have a conversation with our people, and our people have a conversation with your people, whatever it is, to get you back as soon as possible.
Boom, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because yeah, we barely even scratched the surface, you know, just checking out your resume and everything that you have to offer, all your insights. So yeah, it'd be a pleasure to have you back on very soon. And so yeah, before we go, I need to make sure that everybody knows where they can find you, follow you, find all the things that you're working with, so that way they can keep up with what you've got going until we get you back on the next time.
Yeah. So everything I do is on my personal website, albertmcarter.com. You know, I'm active on social media, but you know, I don't practice what I preach in that lane, because I'm not I'm not the artist, right? I'm the guy that's behind the scenes. I want to see you win. I don't necessarily have to be on the public, but it's Berto_Brown on Instagram, and then Albert M. Carter pretty much everywhere else. So.
Excellent. So yeah, if you have any thoughts you want to leave the audience with, you could do that now before I turn it back over to Breezy. I love to tap in with anybody who thinks that I can help them out with their career. You know, we offer consulting, we offer the platform audioswim.com. You could go to it. It's a distribution platform. It's an NFT platform. It's all digital based. If you want to like have a consultation, you can fill out the form, and we rocking and rolling, man. But I music is my passion. We focus on international music. So if you want to just break out the little pocket that if you feel like you're stuck in a certain pocket or dealing with just like a certain thing, we kind of focus on global. So I would love to work with anybody who's listening who fits that demographic. And let's do it, man. Check out the book, Life Sucks. All right, awesome. Breezy?
Hey, well, there you have it. You know, and so we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to just crack open that book and share with our listeners. So thank you immensely, and we're just going to look forward to having you back post haste, so we can go with chapter 2.
Let's do it. Sounds good.
Most definitely. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on the show. I can't wait to be back.
Absolutely.
All right. And that was really, really great to have him on. Looking forward to having him back again very, very soon. So, make sure that you check him out everywhere that he said, dropping tons of wisdom and knowledge. So definitely you want to make sure that you keep him on your radar.
That's right. Let's roll.
All right. We're going to take another quick pause for the cause, and then we'll be back before we close out for the evening. All right, and that's a wrap for this week's edition of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. Once again, we thank you so much for tuning in, listening to us, vibing with us, rocking with us. And shout out to our home stations, Grander Radio, broadcasting out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Sparks Radio, broadcasting out of Denver, Colorado. And yeah, salute to you, the listener, because you're the reason why we do this, and we appreciate you.
Absolutely.
All right, so you know where to find us next time, same place. Tune in, tell a friend, and we'll see you then. Peace.
Peace.